sorry about that. So continuing off of my previous video. So Lord references the Master's tools. Okay, so the Master's tools are pretty much boundaries for, I guess, thought processes that the patriarchy has set in place. So, for example, as Lord talks about the concept of nurturing and how within patriarchy's understanding of nurturing, of relationships, women, specifically women of color, women who are not heterosexual, don't fit in within that model because it was set in place by the patriarchy, by men. And so when white feminism specifically works within that model, for any thought, for any concept, the model set in place by the patriarchy, such as the concept of what it means to be a woman as well, or what it means to be a mother, or what it means to be a working mother. Again, another thing that Lord references. You can't really bring in women who the patriarchy didn't even consider when they established these, I guess, constrictive houses. So when you're talking about how to dismantle the patriarchy or how to, I guess, work away from it or like not include it in something in discussions, when you use their thought processes on things, you're not going to dismantle it. You're, again, playing into that system. And so that's what she means by the Master's tools. And they function within the women's movement, again, because they limit how you talk about women, how you talk about certain groups of women, again, specifically women of color who were not considered women, who were not considered people until very recently, or people that you should care about until very recently, or women who are LGBTQ plus, or any group that, again, people didn't even recognize. Society in general, like at large, didn't recognize until recently. You can't use the Master's tools when talking about these groups or when considering them, because they don't have a place in the Master's house. And so you can't use the Master's tools to talk about them. What role does language and how it is used in play in systems of oppression? So words are powerful. And certain words are powerful to certain groups of people and against certain groups of people. And everybody knows about the N-word and how certain groups can't say that word because, for instance, they either were the ones that invented it and used it in a very negative way towards people of color, Black people specifically, and that is specifically how that word is used in systems of oppression. But now you have people nowadays who are like, white people specifically, who are like, why can't we say that word? Well, because historically it was used by white people to oppress Black people. And so by using it now, you are just reinforcing that. And having the freedom to say it, or not having the freedom to say it, or feeling like you should have the freedom to say it, is further exerting oppression and privilege over other people. But most people don't think about words such as bitch or slut. Words that were often used against women of color when talking about them. Because again, when these systems were first set in place, at least in this country, women of color weren't considered women by white men. And so they were used to oppress them. By calling them bitch, you were literally calling them a dog. Women of color. By immediately labeling them sluts, you were sticking a reputation on them, whether they deserved it or not, was there now forever. And really affected power and how people use it against other people, and that's stuck over the centuries. And so people don't understand that these words, this language has power, and even now can be used to oppress people. And so that is how it is used, I guess, and how it plays in systems of oppression. And so that's about it for my discussion. I hope I did this right. I know it wasn't written, but I know videos were available to us. I will cite my answers below the video. And I really, again, if you heard something that you disagree with or that you agree with, feel free to discuss, comment. Thank you.